Welcome, students. Our next chapter is Principle of Management. So, what is the principle of management? Principle are Principle of management are general guidelines for managerial decision making. What is given? Principle of management are guidelines. How it act as a guideline? What does guide do for anyone? If we hire any guide, then such person guides us in a right way, right path, and how to be in a right way, in a right path, and how to react on a particular situation, how to take decisions on right time. This guidance is given by guide. In the same sense, management principle also guides managers to take a right decision at the right time in a right sense on a particular situation. ओके, तो मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल सिंपली गाइड करता है मैनेजर्स को कि अगर कोई पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन है, उस सिचुएशन पे आप कैसे रिएक्ट करोगे, उस सिचुएशन को कैसे डील करनी है, और उन सिचुएशंस पे आप अपना जजमेंट और रिएक्शंस कैसे देंगे। ये सारी चीज़ें कौन प्रोवाइड करता है? मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल्स। ओके, नाउ नेचर ऑफ मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल्स। फर्स्ट, they have universal applicability in all type of organization. Management principle are universal applicable. Universal applicable means principles can be applied to any kind of organization irrespective of nature and size of organization. Whether it is production unit, whether it is trading unit, whether it is service provider, non-service provider, and each and every kind of organization follows management principles. So, management principle has universal applicability. Next, they are formed by practice and experiments. Any principle is derived by practice and experiment. It is not derived over the night. मतलब अचानक हमारे माइंड में कुछ आया और हमने उसको रिकॉर्ड कर दिया एज एन प्रिंसिपल. इट इज़ नॉट पॉसिबल. फॉर डिराइविंग एनी प्रिंसिपल, रेगुलर प्रैक्टिस, रेगुलर application, regular observation is required, and experiments are required. Then each and every experiment generates result, and final conclusion is drawn by each and every experiment as management principle. Okay. Next, they are flexible and can be modified by the manager when the situation so demanded. The most important character of management principle is flexibility. Modified when situation so demanded. The most important characteristic of management principle is management principles can be modified according to situations prevailing in the organization. फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल, टुडे इज़ द सिनारियो ऑफ कोविड-19. तो जो कंपनीज़ हैं वो अगर पहले 100 एम्प्लॉयज़ के साथ काम कर रहे थे, तो उन्होंने अब अपने एम्प्लॉयज़ को कट शॉर्ट करके 80 कर दिया है या 70 कर दिया है. तो जो वर्क एक्टिविटीज़ पहले 100 वर्कर्स में डिवाइडेड थी, अब वो कितने लोगों में डिवाइड हो जाएगी? 80. मतलब 20 लोगों का काम, 20 वर्कर्स का काम डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाएगा इन 80 वर्कर्स. तो पहले भी वर्क डिवाइड होता था बट सिचुएशन अलग थी. अभी भी वर्क डिवाइड होता है बट सिचुएशन अलग है. तो जो मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल है वो फॉलो हो रहा है बट अकॉर्डिंग टू सिचुएशंस प्रिवेलिंग इन द organization or business environment. So management principles can be changed according to situation prevailing in the organization. Okay, so management principles are flexible. Very important characteristic of management principle. Next, they are aimed at influencing human behavior. Management principles influence human behavior. So they are mainly behavioral in nature. Principles are applied on human beings. Management principles are applied on human beings. And why so principles are applied? To modify the behavior of our employees according to needs and requirements of organization and organizational goal. Therefore it is written, management principle aim at influencing human behavior and mainly is behavioral in nature as it is applicable to human beings. Okay, next, the application of principle of management is contingent. Contingent means situational, depending upon the situations prevailing in the organization. See, it is given, depending upon prevailing situation at a particular point of time. जैसे मैंने अभी एग्जांपल दिया ना कि कोविड-19 का जो अभी चल रहा है सेशन हमारी कंट्री में, वो पूरे बिजनेस टैक्टिक्स को, पैटर्न को, बिजनेस मेथड्स को, प्रोवाइडिंग सर्विसेज, सब चीज़ें चेंज हो चुकी है. तो जो मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल्स, जिस तरीके से मैनेजमेंट पहले काम कर रहा था बिफोर कोविड-19 और अब ड्यूरिंग कोविड-19, दोनों चीज़ें बिल्कुल भी सेम नहीं है. बहुत बड़ा डिफरेंस है इन दोनों में. और ये डिफरेंस को फेस करने के लिए मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल्स आपको क्या करता है? फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी प्रोवाइड करता है. और वही फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल को क्या बनाती है? सिचुएशनल, दैट इज कंटिंजेंट. ओके, अंडरस्टूड. Next is significance of management principles. Why management principles are important? First is it provides useful insight to the reality. Management principles helps us to know what situations a manager can face in workplace and how to act in that सिचुएशन. मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल आपको बताता है कि कौन सी सिचुएशन अराइज होगी जब आप मैनेजमेंट एक्टिविटीज़ परफॉर्म करोगे और उन सिचुएशंस पे कैसे रिएक्ट करना है. तो आपको रियलिटीज़ के लिए प्री प्रिपेयर करता है मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल्स. समझ में आया? अगर हम आपको सिचुएशन बता दें कि ये सिचुएशन हो सकती है तो आप प्री प्रिपेयर्ड हो. और अगर ये सिचुएशंस आपके साथ पहले कभी डील नहीं गई हो, अचानक वो सिचुएशन आएगी तो आप उसके लिए प्री प्रिपेयर्ड नहीं हो, आप उस सिचुएशन को हो सकता है प्रॉपरली डील ना करो. बट मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल्स आपको प्री प्रिपरेशन देता है जिससे आप उनको प्रॉपर तरीके से डील कर सकते हो. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट, they help in optimum utilization of resources and effective administration. What is given? Optimum utilization of resources, effective administration. So management principles helps the proper utilization of resources. How? For example, we will study further principle of division of work. This principle says that work should be divided into small units and each unit of work is to be assigned to an individual according to their capabilities and qualification. सिंपल सी बात है, अगर आप वर्क पूरे टोटल टास्क को स्मॉल यूनिट्स में डिवाइड करो, हर एक इंडिविजुअल ऑफ वर्क आप किसको असाइन करो? एक पर्सन को. और वो जब पर्सन को आप वो असाइनमेंट दे रहे हो, वो आप वर्क असाइन कर रहे हो, तो आपको क्या ध्यान रखना है कि उस पर्सन की क्वालिफिकेशन, कैपेबिलिटी क्या है और अकॉर्डिंगली हम उसको वर्क रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज प्रोवाइड करेंगे. बेनिफिट क्या है इसका? वो पर्सन की पोटेंशियल पूरी यूज होगी, वो बाकी रिसोर्सेज को बेटर यूज करेगा. तो प्रिंसिपल हेल्प कर रहा है आपको बेटर यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ रिसोर्सेस और आपका मैनेजमेंट ज़्यादा इफेक्टिव होगा, मतलब रिजल्ट ओरिएंटेड। क्लियर? नेक्स्ट, दे हेल्प्स टू टेक साइंटिफिक डिसीजंस। What does scientific decisions means? Scientific decisions means knowing facts, information, and then taking decisions of the organization. साइंस कैसे काम करता है? इमेजिनरी फील्ड्स पे काम नहीं करता साइंस। फैक्ट इंफॉर्मेशन कलेक्ट करता है, उसके बाद कोई कंक्लूजन ड्रॉ किया जाता है या डिसीजन लिया जाता है। सेम टू सेम मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल भी रिएक्ट करते हैं। मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल बोलते हैं कि जब आप कोई डिसीजन लेने वाले हो तो दैट डिसीजन मस्ट नॉट बी इल्यूजनरी और इमेजिनरी। सच डिसीजंस आर टू बी टेकन कीपिंग इन माइंड द रियल फैक्ट एंड इंफॉर्मेशन, and knowing the real fact and information make your decision more effective. Clear? तो साइंटिफिक अप्रोच फॉलो करने में हेल्प करते हैं हमको मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल्स। नेक्स्ट, हेल्प इन मीटिंग चेंजिंग एनवायरमेंटल रिक्वायरमेंट। मीटिंग द चेंजिंग environment continuously keeps on changing, and if any organization adopts those changes, then that organization will continue for longer period of time. But if any organization doesn't follow those environmental changes, then it will remain backward as compared to other organization, and after some time period such organization get collapsed. So management principle helps to adopt changes. It motivates, it encourages human resource of the organization to follow the changes, adopt the changes, and get benefits. And it helps to know the benefits what will be availed by the employees as well as organization. ऐसा नहीं है कि जो भी चेंजेस आप अडॉप्ट कर रहे हो उसका बेनिफिट सिर्फ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को मिलेगा। बेनिफिट्स दोनों को ही मिलते हैं और वो दोनों बेनिफिट्स को बताना बोलना ज़रूरी है, एम्प्लॉयज़ को समझाना है कि अगर हम कोई भी टेक्नोलॉजी अपडेट करेंगे, so you will get to learn new technology as well as your value will increase as you know the old as well as new technologies. Understood? Next is they help in fulfilling social responsibilities. How social responsibilities are fulfilled through management principles? Fulfilling social responsibilities through training, fair remuneration, etc. Management principles helps to train to the employees and providing fair remuneration, providing opportunities to participate in the management while making decisions. This all helps employees and lower level employees and mid level employees to know the management techniques, tools, and this helps them to get promoted. Or fair remuneration, through fair remuneration employees will get proper remuneration which will lead to standard of living. So all these are the social responsibilities fulfilled by the management. Next, they are used as basis of, see here written, basis of management training, education and research. Once principles are developed, this principle become base for another research in the organization which can be carried out for further development of the organization. which helps in training to the employees. जैसे हायर लेवल ऑफ मैनेजर है, वो जब मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल्स जानता है और वो किसी को प्रमोशन देगा टॉप लेवल में, तो वो क्या एक्सपेक्ट करेगा कि जो पर्सन प्रमोट हो रहा है वो इन सारे टेक्निक्स टूल्स को समझे जाने ताकि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन फ्लरिश हो। ऐसा नहीं है कि प्रमोशन मिल गया और उसको टूल्स टेक्निक्स पता ही नहीं है और उसने प्रॉपर तरीके से वर्क एग्जीक्यूट नहीं किया। इसलिए प्रिंसिपल्स डिस्क्राइब किए जाते हैं, अपने एम्प्लॉयज़ को एक्सप्लेन किए जाते हैं ताकि वो ट्रेन हो सके राइट टाइम पे राइट डिसीजंस लेने के लिए। नेक्स्ट, Fayol, Henry Fayol, Principles of Management. Henry Fayol is known as father of general management. Henry Fayol is known as father of general management. If MCQs come that who is known as father of management, so answer will be Henry Fayol. But if it in MCQ or in question it is given who is the father of scientific management, technical management, then it will be F.W. Taylor. Both are known as father of management, but Fayol is known as father of general management because Fayol has developed principle which can be generally applicable to each type of organization, whereas F.W. Taylor is known as father of scientific management, which has given more stress and tools techniques according to industries where production activities are carried out. So it is known as father of scientific management, keeping in mind industrial values. Clear? See first, Henry Fayol has derived 14 principles. And these 14 principles are as follow. First, division of work. Henry Fayol says that the total task of the organization should be divided into a small task or job, and each perform a specific each is performed by the specialist and trained employees. How specialists and trained employees? First of all, divide the whole work into the smaller unit and a smaller task which is known as job. This job should be assigned to each individual according to qualification and capabilities. According to qualification and capabilities, which leads to specialization. If a single person is performing single job continuously, a person is performing single type of job continuously, then such person becomes specialized or trained on this particular job. For example, Mr. A is a machine man and he continuously operates machine. जब वो कंटिन्यूसली मशीन को ऑपरेट कर रहा है तो वो उस मशीन के प्रोज एंड कॉन्स दोनों समझता है, दोनों जानता है, और उसको धीरे 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 चीज़ें एकदम क्लेरिफाई हो जाएगी कब मशीन को कैसे ऑपरेट करना है जिससे ब्रेकडाउन कम हो, मैक्सिमम आउटपुट जनरेट हो, वेस्टेज कम हो। वो क्यों आया ये स्पेशलाइजेशन? बाय कंटिन्यूस यूसेज ऑफ दैट मशीन, परफॉर्मिंग दैट पर्टिकुलर job. That is why Henry Fayol has said that work should be divided into small tasks, one task to one person according to the qualification and capabilities of employees. Clear? This leads to specialization and better performance of work. Next is authority and responsibility. Authority means right to give order, and responsibility means obligation to be perform the job assigned on time. तो अथॉरिटी सिंपली मतलब सिंपली मीनिंग ऑफ अथॉरिटी क्या है? पावर टू टेक डिसीजन. अगर एक पर्सन को हम अथॉरिटी दे रहे हैं मतलब वी आर असाइनिंग पावर टू टेक डिसीजन. एंड इफ वी आर गिविंग रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दैट मीन्स वी आर असाइनिंग सम जॉब दैट टू बी कंप्लीटेड ऑन अ स्पेसिफाइड टाइम पीरियड. क्लियर? सो गलती क्या होती है स्टूडेंट से, ये सुन लो. स्टूडेंट्स सिर्फ अथॉरिटी एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी की मीनिंग लिख देते हैं. ये प्रिंसिपल नहीं है. जो अभी हमने अभी तक पढ़ा वो सिर्फ मीनिंग है कि अथॉरिटी एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी क्या होती है. प्रिंसिपल क्या है? प्रिंसिपल, Fayol suggested that balance between authority and responsibility. Fayol says that there must be balance between authority and responsibility. Authority must be equal to responsibility. It must not be lesser or higher than अथॉरिटी. देखो सिंपल सी बात है, अगर आप अथॉरिटी किसी पर्सन को देते हो और उससे ज़्यादा उसको टास्क देते हो परफॉर्म करने के लिए, तो मैंने अगर अपने एम्प्लॉयज़ को 10 यूनिट्स की अथॉरिटी दी है और उनको मैंने जॉब दिया 14 यूनिट्स का, तो वो परफॉर्म कर पाएंगे क्या? विल दे एबल टू परफॉर्म दैट जॉब? इट इज़ नॉट पॉसिबल. Why it is not possible? They can do the job up to 10 units, but after 10 units they don't have authority to perform the job. So responsibility will not be fulfilled. In the case responsibility is higher than authority. Second case, where authority is more than responsibility, there the main thing will be employees will start misusing authority. Employee will start misusing authority because authority will not be executed in a right manner because responsibility is less and authority is more. So there are chances that misuse of authority take place. Therefore there must be balance between authority and responsibility. Understood? Next is principle of discipline. It means obedience to organization, rules and employment agreement. Discipline generally means following rules and regulation. But according to this principle, only following rules and regulation is not complete discipline. Discipline means committed. Committed towards employment agreement and towards job assigned. So commitment towards job assigned towards employment agreement is known as discipline. For example, we have assigned to perform 10 units a day to Mr. A, and Mr. A maintains a standard of quality, and he perform his task of 10 units a day in working hours. It means Mr. A is disciplined because he is committed towards its job. Clear? So discipline generally means rules and regulation, but according to Fuel, discipline only doesn't means following rules and regulation. Apart from following rules and regulation, there must be commitment of employees towards agreement of employment as well as towards job assigned to them. Clear? Next, unity of command. What does unity of command says? An employee should receive order or instruction from one and only one boss. ये प्रिंसिपल कहीं भी नहीं बोलता कि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में एक बॉस होना चाहिए. ये स्टूडेंट्स गलती करते हैं जब हम आंसर लिखते हैं तब. ठीक है, स्टूडेंट्स ये गलती करते हैं जब आंसर लिखते हैं कि देयर शुड बी वन बॉस इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. ना, बिल्कुल नहीं. It this principle doesn't says that there should be one boss. There can be multiple boss in the organization, but instruction must be given by one boss. Why? So it is defined that instruction must be given by one boss. For example, there are three bosses in the organization. All three bosses gives instruction to the employees. First boss goes and gives instruction, second goes and gives instruction, third goes and gives instruction. What will it create? First of all, confusion for the employees. Whose work is to be performed first? Second, excuses will be given by the employees. I was doing the job of first boss. When second boss will ask, when third will ask, he will say, employees will say, I was performing work of second boss. These are the excuses which can be given by employees. Third, there will be ego clashes between bosses. Each boss will think their work should be done first, and there will be ego clashes between bosses. So, to avoid all these three activities, that is confusion, excuses, and ego clashes, one boss must give instruction. There can be multiple bosses. Again, I am saying there can be multiple bosses in the organization. Those bosses must discuss the subject matter and make a single decision, and one boss only will give instruction to every employee. No confusion, no excuses, no ego clashes. Understood? Next, unity of direction. Next principle is unity of direction. Unity of direction means all the units of the organization should be moving towards same objective. All the units of the organization, units means purchase department, sales department, marketing department, they should not move to different direction. They should move to a single objective, that is organizational objective. So Henry Fayol has said, one unit, one plan. Here one unit means organization. So one organization should have one plan, so that each and every person should follow same path and move towards a single direction, that is organizational goal. Clear? So this is known as unity of direction. Next is subordination of individual interest to general interest. Subordination means to combine. Individual interest means personal interest of employees, and general interest means organizational interest. So the interest of organization, that is goal of the organization, should suppress the interest of any one individual employee. Interest means goal. Each employee working in the organization has his or her own goal. मैं अगर किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को ज्वाइन कर रहा हूँ तो मेरा एम है उसमें. What is my goal? To get better salary, to get better work condition, to get increment, to get promotion, ये सब मैं किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को ज्वाइन करने के बाद यही एक्सपेक्ट करता हूँ, है ना। तो इसमें यही चीज बोला गया है कि जब कोई पर्सन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ज्वाइन करता है तो वो सिर्फ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन गोल के लिए काम नहीं करता, वो अपने गोल के लिए भी काम करता है, पर्सनल गोल के लिए। सो वाइल परफॉर्मिंग द जॉब फॉर ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल गोल, एम्प्लॉइज पर्सनल गोल शुड ऑल्सो बी अचीव्ड। तो अपने मैनेजमेंट पैटर्न को इस तरीके से डेवलप करो कि जब हम अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए काम करवा रहे हैं अपने एम्प्लॉय से, तो वर्क परफॉर्म करते करते एम्प्लॉयज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के गोल को भी अचीव करेंगे और अपने पर्सनल गोल को भी अचीव करेंगे। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, what is the goal of the employee? To earn more. What is the goal of organization? To produce more. Why to produce more? To make extra sales, to explore new market with new products. So production must be more. How this both can be possible? Very simple. Payment must be given to the employees according to number of unit produced. One unit payment must be given per unit. For example, one unit 10 rupees. If employees produce 100 unit a day, then 10 into 100, 1000 a day. If employee produce 150 units in a day, 150 into 10, 1500. It means higher production, higher earning. This will motivate employee to perform higher, and it will automatically fulfills the goal of both organization as well as employee. Employee will get higher earning and organization will get higher production. So these are the techniques that should be used to connect individual interest with general interest. Clear? Next, remuneration to the employees, fair remuneration to the employees. Remuneration of employees should be just and equitable to provide maximum satisfaction to the employees as well as employer. And just and equitable means ऐसा नहीं है कि लोअर लेवल हायर लेवल सबकी सैलरी वेजेस इक्वल रखो। हाँ, जस्ट एंड इक्विटेबल का मतलब इक्वल सैलरी नहीं पे करना, ऐसा नहीं है। इट मस्ट बी इक्वल टू क्वालिफिकेशन कैपेबिलिटीज of the employee. If a person is capable of earning 50,000 unit and organization is also capable of paying 50,000 unit, then such person must be paid 50,000 rupees. If competitor is paying 30,000, then you should keep in mind the competitive salary, and while fixing employees salary, the competitor salary also must be considered. Next, government has fixed certain minimum wages act payment rules system, then while fixing the remuneration of employee, this rules must also be followed. So this all consideration makes fair remuneration for the employees. Clear? अगर employees को fair remuneration मिलेगी, the employee will satisfied and will dedicated towards his organization. और अगर satisfied नहीं है तो वो अपने फुल डेडिकेशन से कभी काम नहीं करेगा। समझ में आया? ओके। नेक्स्ट प्रिंसिपल इज प्रिंसिपल ऑफ सेंट्रलाइजेशन एंड डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन। व्हाट इज सेंट्रलाइजेशन? द कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ डिसीजन मेकिंग बाय टॉप मैनेजमेंट इज कॉल्ड सेंट्रलाइजेशन। मतलब ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के ईच एंड एवरी डिसीजन कौन लेता है? टॉप लेवल। स्मॉल टू स्मॉल, huge to huge decisions are taken by top level. Means whole authority is at one center point, that is top level. So it is known as centralization. Whereas delegation authority throughout the levels of the organization is called decentralization. When we make evenly distribution of authority to each level of the organization, it is known as decentralization. Now, what should organization do? Organization must be completely centralized or decentralized. देखो दोनों के ड्रॉबैक्स है। कंप्लीटली सेंट्रलाइज, डिले इन एक्टिविटी, क्योंकि छोटे से छोटे डिसीजन के लिए टॉप लेवल से कंसीडर करना पड़ेगा, फिर आप डिसीजन उनसे पास करके काम करोगे तो डिले होगी एक्टिविटीज। इमरजेंसी में हम हर चीज पीछे हो जाएंगे क्योंकि हम राइट टाइम पे डिसीजन ले पाएंगे। डिसेंट्रलाइज हैं तो अथॉरिटी इवनली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड है, मिस यूज ऑफ अथॉरिटी होने के चांसेस सबसे ज़्यादा है. तो व्हाट शुड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन डू? ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मस्ट मेक कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ सेंट्रलाइजेशन एंड डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन. जो क्रूशियल कंपोनेंट्स है, इंपॉर्टेंट मैटर्स है, दैट डिसीजन शुड बी टेकन बाय top level. And routine job, daily work, routine activities, related authorities and decisions should be assigned to middle and lower level employees. This is known as combination of centralization and decentralization. So it is given there should be balance between centralization and decentralization. Organization must not be completely centralized, neither decentralized. There must be combination of both. Next principle is principle of scalar chain. The formal line of authority forms highest to lower rank is known as scalar chain. क्या बोल रहा है? Line of authority from highest rank to lowest rank is known as scalar chain. Suggested that communication from top to bottom should follow the official line of command. Communication from top to bottom follow line of command. Gangplank is the shorter route and has been provided so that communication not delay. Gangplank shorter route in the case of emergency. Simply, what does scalar chain says that? Scalar chain says that there is line of authority. For example, this is the line of authority. B, C, D, L, M, N. How to communicate? If D wants to communicate to N, then what must be the communication pattern? It should not be like this. Direct communication should be avoided. Scalar chain says that communication must be from key to key. D to C, C to B, B to A to L, then to M, and then information must flow to N. अगर हम इस चेन कैसे होता है, एक की दूसरे की से कनेक्टेड होता है. तो फर्स्ट की को अगर लास्ट की से कम्युनिकेट करना है तो डायरेक्ट कम्युनिकेशन नहीं होगा. कैसे होगा? वो कंटिन्यू एक एक की के थ्रू मूव होके फॉलो होगा. तो सेम यहाँ पे भी स्केलर चेन है. चेन का मतलब की टू की कम्युनिकेशन होना चाहिए. अगर कोई भी पर्सन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में कम्युनिकेट करना चाहता है तो वो डायरेक्ट नेक्स्ट अथॉरिटी से कम्युनिकेट नहीं करेगा, वो चेन को फॉलो करेगा हाईएस्ट टू लोवेस्ट रैंक पे. व्हाट आर द बेनिफिट्स ऑफ दिस chain? First and most important benefit is no communication gap. There will be no communication gap between organization, and complete information must be flown in the organization. Each and every person will know what activities are going on in the organization. सबसे बड़ा बेनिफिट यही है. बट व्हाट इफ देयर इज सर्टेन इमरजेंसी केसेस? कुछ इमरजेंसी सिचुएशन और केस है, तो तब क्या करना है? देन गैंग प्लैंक मस्ट बी फॉलोड. What is gangplank? Gangplank means shorter route of communication. It is not always possible to follow whole chain of communication in the case of emergency. So Fuel has suggested in the case of emergency a short route must be followed to make direct communication, and that short route is known as gangplank. Understood? That short route is known as gangplank, and that must be used between same level of authority. Very important, that must be used between same level of authority. Clear? So gangplank is the shorter route followed between same level of authority. Say D and N are in same level of authority, then they can follow gangplank. But when in the case of emergency and normal condition, they must follow scalar chain. Next principle is principle of order. Order doesn't mean instruction. Here order doesn't mean instruction. What does order means? There should be fixed place for every person and everything in the organization. Each person and everything should be in definite place. क्या बोलना चाह रहा है? ऑर्डर का मतलब यहाँ पे है, द मीनिंग ऑफ ऑर्डर इज हियर sequence. There must be proper sequence of each and every element in the organization. For example, here is the cabin of boss. So where must be the cabin of secretary? Just side to boss. It must not be after all many staffs, then here will be the cabin of secretary. No. Why it should not be like that? Because boss and secretary has to make communication each and every time, continuous process. So the cabin of boss and secretary must be near to near. Similarly, if in organization we are performing production activities, then how tools, equipments and machinery must be arranged? The place where machinery is installed, for example here is machinery, the toolbox must be placed with machinery. Toolbox must be placed with machinery, so that workers must not waste their time to search toolbox and operate the machinery. But if there's toolbox and machineries are placed at the same place, then no wastage of time. So this is known as orderly arrangement. Clear? Next, principle of equity. What does equity means? Emphasize on kindness and justice in the behavior of manager. Just and equal treatment to each and every worker in the organization. And most important thing, equal treatment doesn't means equal salary. हर किसी को equal treat करना इसका मतलब equal salary देना ना. There must no discrimination on account of caste, language, gender, etc. Each and every employee in the organization must be treated in a same manner, just and kind manner. Clear? So it is known as principle of equity. फिर से बोल रहा हूं, equal treatment doesn't means equal salary. Equal treatment means no discrimination. Next is second, principle of stability of person. Stability, stable means fixation. Employees should not be moved from their position frequently. They should be given a reasonable time to show result. एक एम्प्लॉय को आपने ट्रांसफर किया, फॉर एग्जाम्पल वन प्लेस टू अनदर प्लेस, वन प्लेस टू अनदर प्लेस, फिर विद इन शॉर्ट पीरियड ऑफ टाइम अगेन यू हैव ट्रांसफर दैट एम्प्लॉय टू अनदर प्लेस. अगर हम उसको फ्रीक्वेंट ट्रांसफर करते रहेंगे तो उसको टाइम मिलेगा क्या चीज़ों को ऑब्जर्व करने के लिए, समझने के लिए और फिर परफॉर्म करने के लिए? आप उतना टाइम ही प्रोवाइड नहीं कर रहे हो तो वो रिजल्ट कैसे शो करेगा, परफॉर्मेंस कैसे शो करेगा? सो एम्प्लॉयज should not be moved from one place to another frequently. Employees must be given time to give their performance and must be stable policy of the organization that if any employee performs in a well manner, well performance with good performance oriented behavior, then such person should be given permanent placement in the organization. That will boost the morale of the employee. That is known as principle of stability of person. Next is principle of initiative. Employees should be encouraged to make and execute plan within the prescribed limits of the authority. Initiative means to take initials, to take first step, to start, to take step. In this all means initiative. देखो क्या होता है, हम एम्प्लॉय से बिना पूछे अगर कोई भी काम करते हैं तो हम ऑर्डर्स तो दे देंगे बट उनका डेडिकेशन लो रहेगा. बट इफ we ask to the employees, ask to the employees mean doesn't means we have to follow all the suggestions of the employees. We simply need to take decision, make decision after taking suggestions of the employees. Why it is required? As employees are the real work on the real work environment. वो रियल प्रैक्टिकल सिचुएशन पे वो काम कर रहे हैं. मैनेजर तो कैबिन में बैठ के चीज़ें ड्रॉ करता है, प्लान करता है, बट रियल वर्क इन्वायरमेंट में काम करने वाला कौन है? एम्प्लॉय है. तो उनसे आप अगर सजेशन लेते हो तो आपका मैनेजमेंट डिसीजन ज़्यादा स्ट्रांग होगा. पहला पहला बेनिफिट. दूसरा, आपके एम्प्लॉयज़ आपके डिसीजन को ज़्यादा रिस्पेक्ट देंगे और ज़्यादा डेडिकेशन के साथ फॉलो करेंगे. वाई? बिकॉज देयर सजेशंस, देयर ओपिनियंस आर इंक्लूडेड इन द डिसीजन. Their suggestions, their opinions are included in the decision. So employees must be given opportunities to participate in the management. So welcome suggestions, opinions of the employees. This will create dedication towards organization of the employees. Understood? Next, last principle derived by the Henry Fayol is principle of Esprit de Corps. Esprit de Corps simply means teamwork. Work in the organization must not be in isolation or individual work. It must be teamwork, team spirit, spirit of unity and harmony. ऐसा नहीं एक इंडिविजुअल, फॉर एग्जांपल हमने 100 यूनिट्स प्रोड्यूस करनी है और हमारे पास 10 वर्कर्स हैं. हमने क्या किया, इस वर्क को 10 वर्कर्स में डिवाइड कर दिया. एंड 1 वर्कर इज इक्वल टू 10 यूनिट्स. 1 वर्कर इज इक्वल टू 10 यूनिट्स. हर एक इंडिविजुअल वर्कर ने अपना अपना काम कर दिया. 2 ऐसे वर्कर हैं, 2 वर्कर्स. 1 produces 8 unit and second produces 7 unit. What is the team spirit? टीम किसके लिए काम कर रही है? इस 100 यूनिट्स के लिए काम कर रहा है, ना कि ये 10 यूनिट्स के लिए वर्कर्स काम करेंगे. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? जो 10 वर्कर्स हैं वो इन 2 वर्कर्स को हेल्प करेंगे, मतलब रिमेनिंग 8 वर्कर्स हेल्प करेंगे 2 यूनिट ऑफ फर्स्ट वर्कर विच इज इनकम्प्लीट, 3 unit of second worker which is incomplete. This 5 unit will be complete by whole team. This is known as principle of Esprit de Corps. जैसे क्रिकेट मैच होता है तो क्या इंडिविजुअल प्लेयर अपने लिए खेलता है कि वो टीम के स्कोर के लिए खेलता है? वो टीम के लिए स्कोर के लिए खेलता है. दे प्ले मैचेस फॉर टीम स्कोर, नॉट फॉर इंडिविजुअल स्कोर. अब किसी ने कम कंट्रीब्यूट किया, किसी ने ज़्यादा कंट्रीब्यूट किया, बट कंट्रीब्यूशन किसके लिए है? दैट इज फॉर टीम. Same thing will be done in the organization. This is known as principle of Esprit de Corps. Clear? Next is scientific management principles and techniques developed by F. W. Taylor. F. W. Taylor. And F. W. Taylor is known as father of scientific management. F.W. Taylor is known as father of scientific management. Clear? So F.W. Taylor has also given principles and as well as techniques. Apart from principles, F.W. Taylor has also developed techniques of management. So what are those principles and techniques? First, principle of science, not the rule of thumb. F.W. Taylor says that there must be no rule of thumb in the organization. Rule of thumb means dictatorship. जैसे एडोल्फ हिटलर था, जो मैंने बोला वही करना है. दिस इज रूल ऑफ थंब. सो it must not be followed in the organization. Then what should be followed? Scientific approach. What does scientific approach says? That first of all, gather fact and figures information and then to make any decision. This is known as scientific study. So Taylor believes that there was only one best method to maximize efficiency, which can be developed through scientific study. And what is scientific study? Just now I have told. Collection of facts and information and then to take decisions in the organization. That simple. Next is harmony, not discord. There should be complete harmony between management and workers. Basically in the organization there are two groups, group of management and group of worker, and they always develop negative feelings for each other. Managers say things that workers are good for nothing, whatever amount is paid they can't perform their work in a best possible manner. And worker says that managers always assign them more of job and pays less amount for the same job. And this creates conflict in the organization between these two groups. But they must know that if there is conflict between these two groups, then organization performance can't be possible. So what to do? There must be complete mental revolution between these two groups. Mental revolution. Mental revolution means to develop positive attitude for each other. To develop positive attitude for each other. They must be supportive to each other so that organization must perform to their higher ability. Clear? Next. Third principle is cooperation, not individualism. Every employee should work in the organization with full cooperation, not for individual interest only. Just now I have told each employee this. It simple means teamwork. It is similar to principle of Aspirate D Corp. टीम एक्टिविटी पे कंसंट्रेट करना है, ना ही किस पे कंसंट्रेट करना है, इंडिविजुअल एक्टिविटी पे. एम्प्लॉइज जब परफॉर्म करेंगे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, दे मस्ट परफॉर्म एज अ टीम, नॉट एन इंडिविजुअल कि मेरा काम हो गया, एक एम्प्लॉय बोला मेरा काम हो गया. अदर they must know their activity. My job is complete. No, the job will complete only when teamwork will complete. So cooperation means to work as a team cooperatively with each other, not to follow individual goal but to follow organizational group goal. Clear? Next, development of each and every person to highest and greatest efficiency and prosperity. In organization, each person must be developed to their highest and greatest efficiency. How? Each person should be scientifically selected. Scientific selection means first of all define job position and what are the required qualification of those job position. After that, recruitment and selection activities must be carried on accordingly. Second, they should get required training to learn the best method. Train the employees. How to develop the employees? They must be given training time to time to update their knowledge so that best method can be put in the organization in a best manner with the trained employees. Clear? So these are the four principles developed by the F.W. Taylor, father of scientific management. Next is standards. Techniques developed by the F.W. Taylor. So what are the techniques of F.W. Taylor? So techniques developed by the F.W. Taylor are: first, functional foremanship. Taylor has suggested the whole activity of the organization should be observed. The whole activity of organization should be observed by eight types of specialized foremen and divide the work into two departments. This eight specialized must be divided into two departments. Basically, two department. One is related to mental activities, that is planning department. Second is related to physical activities, that is production department. And each department must have four bosses. Each department must have four bosses. First, gang boss. Under planning department, there must be instruction card clerk, route clerk, time and cost clerk, and disciplinarian. What is the work of instruction card clerk? To give instructions to the employees. Route clerk to define path of the work, how work is to be carried on. Time and cost clerk to define the start and end time and the cost within which organization has to perform its activity. Disciplinarian to maintain discipline, commitment in the organization and employees of the organization. Clear? Next, production department. First is gang boss, that is group leader. Speed boss, this boss is responsible to maintain speed, that work should be completed within defined time period, which is defined by time and cost clerk. Next is repair boss. This boss is responsible for up to date of machines, tools, equipments of the organization. And last is inspector, who will do quality inspection of the output. Clear? So there must be two departments, planning department and production, and there must be four bosses in each of this department. Next is standardization and simplification. Standardization. Standard means fixing limits for every activity. Standard doesn't only means to quality. There must be limit for each and every activity in the organization. For example, working hours 8 hours a day, that is a standard. Output 10 units a day, that is a standard. Size, color, all this comes under standard. Quality. So standard doesn't only means quality. Standard means fixing limit for each and every activity. Working hours of the employees, output to be produced by employees, size of output. For example, if we see PET bottle of cold drink, the size of each and every bottle is same. None of the bottle is small or big in size. Each bottle has same size. the color wrapper of that cold drink, for example Coca-Cola, the color wrapper of Coca-Cola is red and red color is same for each and every bottle. So this is known as color standard. So this is known as standard. Simplification means avoiding multiple activities which cannot be managed effectively. It simply says that don't do multiple jobs which can't be managed by the managers effectively. हम 10 टाइप्स ऑफ वर्क परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं बट हमको जो रिजल्ट है वो प्रॉपर नहीं मिल रहा है, तो क्या मतलब आपके 10 डिफरेंट एक्टिविटीज़ को परफॉर्म करने का? कट शॉर्ट करो. अगर आपका मैनेजमेंट सिर्फ 7 एक्टिविटीज़ को मैनेज कर सकता है देन यू शुड डू 7 वर्क. The output will be more effective than 10 work performed by the organization. Clear? Next is fatigue study. What does fatigue means? Thakavat, tiredness. This seeks determining the amount and frequency of rest interval for completing a task. That it is very simple. If we start job in morning, our body is fresh and we perform with higher level of energy, but by continuous performance our energy level goes down, we start getting tired. तो सिंपली ये फटीग स्टडी क्या बोलता है, आप ऑब्जर्व करो कि आपके एम्प्लॉइज कब टायर्ड हो रहे हैं, क्योंकि उनका ग्राफ ऑफ परफॉर्मेंस नीचे जा रहा है, तो आपको उसको बूस्ट करना है. कैसे बूस्ट कर सकते हो? आप रेस्ट दो. जैसे 2 आवर्स में एक रेस्ट इंटरवल देने से वापस उनकी परफॉर्मेंस लेवल सेम हो जाती है. तो दिस इज द ऑब्जर्वेशन एंड दिस इज नोन एज फटीग स्टडी. So fatigue study must be conducted by each and every organization so that organization must know कितना रेस्ट इंटरवल देना है. जैसे 8 आवर्स काम करवाने हैं तो हमको 3 रेस्ट इंटरवल देना पड़ेगा बिटवीन ईच 2 आवर्स रेस्ट वर्किंग आवर्स. Frequency means how frequent. 2 hours, after 2 hours there will be rest interval, and the length of rest interval, that is 5 minutes rest interval or 10 minutes rest interval. that is ये सब चीज़ें हमको रिकॉग्नाइज करनी है और फिक्स करनी है. ऐसा नहीं कैबिन में बैठे हैं तो डिसाइड कर दिए दिन भर में एक रेस्ट इंटरवल मिलेगा, एम्प्लॉयज़ की परफॉर्मेंस डाउन हो रही है, तो आपने कोई स्टडी नहीं की. तो टेलर बोलते हैं कि आप स्टडी करो, देखो, ऑब्जर्व करो आपके एम्प्लॉयज़ कब थकते हैं, कब वो टायर्ड हो जाते हैं, और उसके हिसाब से उनके लिए रेस्ट इंटरवल डिफाइन करो. क्लियर? नेक्स्ट, मेथड स्टडी. There are multiple methods to perform any kind of job. So what does method study does for us? Method study is to find one of the best method to do any job. First of all, list out all the methods which are useful to perform any task. Then evaluate each method and determine which method is best suited for our organization. This is done by the method study, which help us to know the best method to be adopted by the organization for the better performance. Next is time study, determining the standard time taken to perform a well defined job. जैसे 10 यूनिट्स अ डे प्रोड्यूस करना है तो उसके लिए टाइम पीरियड होगा. 10 यूनिट्स अ डे मतलब कितना टाइम पीरियड? 6 आवर, 8 आवर्स. तो वो आप अपने विल एंड विश से डिफाइन नहीं करोगे. आपको क्या करना है? ऑब्जर्व करना है. आप काम दो अपने वर्कर्स को, बोलो 10 यूनिट्स बनाओ और देखो कि वो 10 यूनिट्स कितने टाइम पीरियड में बना रहे हैं, उसमें कितना वो रेस्ट लेते हैं, कितना ब्रेक लेते हैं, कितना प्रोडक्टिव एंड अनप्रोडक्टिव वर्क है, और उन सब को एनालाइज करके आप टाइम फिक्स करोगे. दिस एनालिसिस इज नोन एज टाइम स्टडी. नेक्स्ट इज मोशन स्टडी. मोशन मीन्स मूवमेंट्स. इट रेफर्स टू स्टडी ऑफ मूवमेंट्स. प्रोडक्टिव मूवमेंट्स आर टू बी एलिमिनेटेड. जब एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में एम्प्लॉइज वर्क परफॉर्म करता है तो वो 2 तरीके से मूव होता है. एक होता है प्रोडक्टिव मूवमेंट, दैट इज फॉर प्रोडक्शन एक्टिविटी और फॉर द जॉब, जिस जॉब के लिए उसको हमने अपॉइंट किया है उसी जॉब के लिए वो मूव हो रहा है, ठीक है, तो उसको बोलते हैं प्रोडक्टिव। और एक होता है फ्रेंडली टॉक्स, अननेसेसरी गॉसिप्स, ये होता है अनप्रोडक्टिव मोमेंट्स। तो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में आप क्या चाहोगे, लेस ऑफ अनप्रोडक्टिव, मोर ऑफ प्रोडक्टिव मोमेंट्स। तो मोशन स्टडी आपको हेल्प करता है फाइंड आउट करने में कि एम्प्लॉइज की मूवमेंट क्यों है, उसमें से कितनी प्रोडक्टिव और कितनी अनप्रोडक्टिव है, सो दैट वी कैन एलिमिनेट और कट आउट अनप्रोडक्टिव मूवमेंट्स। क्लियर? नेक्स्ट इज एंड लास्ट, differential piece rate system, one of the important technique of F.W. Taylor. It differentiate between effective and less effective workers. How? On the basis of two wage rate, high and low wage rate. It rewards effective workers and motivates and less effective workers ones to perform better. बहुत सिंपल है, आप क्या करो, स्टैंडर्ड फिक्स करो, 10 यूनिट्स अ डे, 10 रुपीज पर यूनिट। क्लियर? 10 यूनिट्स अ डे, 10 रुपीज पर यूनिट। इफ वर्कर परफॉर्म्स लेस देन दिस स्टैंडर्ड, देन द रेट ऑफ पेमेंट विल बी लेस देन ₹10। फॉर एग्जाम्पल से 8 रुपीज, 10 के बदले 8 मिलेगा। बट इफ वर्कर परफॉर्म्स मोर देन द स्टैंडर्ड, मतलब वो 10 यूनिट से ज्यादा प्रोड्यूस करता है, तो उसको हायर पेविदेस पेमेंट मिलेगी, फॉर एग्जाम्पल 13 रुपीज। तो आपको यहाँ पे डिफ्रेंशिएट करने में हेल्प होगा। एक बार वर्कर्स परफॉर्म करेंगे, पता पड़ जाएगा किसने स्टैंडर्ड से कम काम किया है और किसने स्टैंडर्ड या उससे ज़्यादा काम किया है। तो जो स्टैंडर्ड से कम काम कर रहा है वो इनएफिशिएंट वर्कर है, और जो स्टैंडर्ड या उससे ज़्यादा काम कर रहा है वो एफिशिएंट वर्कर है। और दिस bifurcation will help to know the efficient and inefficient employees, and it will motivate inefficient employees to go in the group of efficient employees। कैसे? हर कोई चाहता है ज़्यादा पेमेंट हो, तो जो जिन्होंने कम प्रोड्यूस किया है वो नेक्स्ट टाइम ज़्यादा प्रोड्यूस करने की कोशिश करेंगे। हम उनको ट्रेन करेंगे ताकि उनका आउटपुट इंक्रीज हो और वो इनएफिशिएंट से एफिशिएंट एम्प्लॉय की कैटेगरी में पहुंच जाए। क्लियर? सो दिस आर द टेक्निक्स डेवलप्ड बाय द F.W. Taylor. So this is from chapter 2. Thank you.